E.S.S. Wellington, An Interstellar Tale by J.N. Wdowski. For your full enjoyment, be sure to listen to the end. Let us know what you think. Positive and negative comments are both welcome. Chapter 3, Too Late. Mueller returned to the bridge. Report. Commander Frost stood and relinquished the command chair to Mueller. We are moments away from making the jump. Good. Mueller took his seat and addressed Rogers. Communications? I had the computer process their broadcasts. We should have 90% comprehension of their languages. Languages? Mueller stroked his beard. Aye, sir. They are a multinational world. I detected 3 major powers, 10 distinct languages. The ensign reported. So we can communicate with them? Mueller wanted to be sure before they jumped into their system. Aye, sir. Well done, Ms. Rogers. Mueller then addressed his helmsman. Mr. Mumdingo, drop us 500,000 miles from their world. Should be less than 3 light seconds away from them. Far enough away, but close enough to make near real-time radio contact. Aye, sir. Mr. Mumdingo entered the coordinates for the jump. Set. Proceed. In less than a blink of the eye, the Wellington made the jump, and a T-class prime world hung in space in front of them. It had several continents, blue oceans, and a brown-gray atmospheric haze. They were about 200,000 miles farther out than the moon is from Earth. Mueller stood from his command chair and approached the view screen. If not for the different continent configurations, it would look like home, except they seemed to have serious air pollution. Captain, I am not picking up any radio waves from the planet, Rogers reported. What? Mumdingo, did you jump to the correct world? Mueller questioned his helmsman. Aye, sir. Exactly 500,000 miles from the planet, as you ordered. Nothing? He turned back to Rogers. Nothing, sir. The ensign confirmed. Sensors? Mueller turned to Lieutenant Stenval. I am detecting large amounts of radiation in their atmosphere. He reported. Mr. Mumdingo, bring us closer. Put us in orbit, so we can take a closer look. Mueller returned to his command chair. Aye, sir. Mumdingo engaged the sublight engines. 2 hours later, the Wellington entered orbit above the alien world. Still nothing, sir. I am not picking up any communications from the surface. Rogers informed Mueller. Their satellite array is dead. Some have been completely destroyed or damaged, Stenval added. There are signs of major cities on the surface, but they're in ruins. The 3 largest cities look like they were hit by meteors. The other cities have high levels of radiation, most likely from fusion weapons. Any signs of life? Mueller asked. I'm picking up some small groups far from the ruins. They are deep underground, though, a few dozen souls at best. The sensor officer read his display for life signs. Yamato of Damage Control questioned, but we picked up their television signals only a few hours ago. How could this be? We were 2 light years away, Ensign, meaning the signals we received were transmitted 2 years ago. Mueller looked at the magnified images of one of the ruined cities on the surface. This must have happened within those past 2 years. We were watching the last broadcasts of a dead civilization. Mueller sat silently as he looked at the devastated world. Stenval, can you determine when this happened? Stenval adjusted his scans of the atmosphere of the planet below. Gamma-ray spectrometer is picking up traces of ruthenium-106 fallout in the atmosphere. The half-life of the ruthenium would measure that this happened less than a year ago. Mueller questioned Ensign Rogers. If we jump less than 1 light year away from this position, we should be able to pick up their last radio signals? The computer can translate them? Aye, sir. The communications officer confirmed. Can we jump yet? Mueller asked Helm. Soon. Since we had only jumped 2 light years, the DMAS generator only needs 5.2 hours to reset for another jump. He looked at the clock for the DMAS generator. They'll be ready in 3 hours. Sir, Stenval interrupted. Yes. I noticed that the 3 largest cities on the surface were not hit by nuclear weapons. They were hit with the destructive forces of small meteors, strikes that all hit each metropolis dead center. Stenval reported his findings. Meaning, all 3 are too accurate to have been natural hits. Scanning the center of the craters, I am picking up the signs of tungsten, turning to face his captain, but in much larger quantities that hit us in the Holden system. Understand, Ensign. 3 hours later, The Wellington jumped to just less than 1 light-year from the alien world. Mueller was hopeful at that distance they could intercept their last radio wave broadcast so they can discover what had happened to their civilization. Rogers, any luck? Mueller looked over the ensign's shoulder at her workstation. Aye, sir. We are picking up radio signals, but audio only, Rogers acknowledged. Have the computer translate and print out on the main screen. He went back to his command chair and sat as the computer's translation displayed the radio-translated transcripts from the 3 different factions on the planet. The bridge crew all silently read the transcripts to themselves. A heaviness fell over the bridge as they all read what had happened to the alien world. They nuked themselves. Yamato was the first to break the silence. Their capitals were first hit. They hadn't detected anything, so they assumed the opposing factions had made first strikes. In response, they all released their nuclear arsenals on each other. Roger's voice slightly trembled. They knew what cities to hit. They knowingly hit them, with only 3 tungsten rods, and that these aliens would finish the job for them. Mueller sat back as he reread the transcripts. Well, we now know that they do have faster-than-light travel. The entire bridge crew sat in silence. They kept rereading the transcripts, hoping it was not what they all knew it meant. The Holden aliens that destroyed the Grant were able to reach out beyond their home star system. Yamato began to force herself to hold back her tears as her eyes began to pool with dread and fear. This is not good, Mueller thought to himself, knowing not to say it out loud. What are your orders, Captain? His first officer, Frost, finally broke the silence. When can we jump again? Mueller asked his helmsman. Ensign Mumdingo looked at the D-mast generator countdown clock. 1 hour 45 minutes for reset. Set our next 10-light-year jump waypoint back towards Tesla 3, Mueller commanded. Permission to speak? Requested Ensign Yamato. What is it, Ensign? What are the survivors on that world? Shouldn't we still try to contact them and save those we can? They cannot survive long. They have been there nearly a year, trapped underground in a nuclear wasteland. He could sense the concern in her voice as she continued to prevent herself from crying on the bridge. It is still our prime mission, making contact with sentient beings. His first officer agreed with the ensign. Mueller hesitated to respond. Frost and Yamato were both correct, yet he kept repeating in his head, the safety of my ship and crew are my prime objectives. He finally turned to Stenval. How many survivors did you find again? There were only a few dozen, not many. The blonde, blue-eyed lieutenant reported. If we jettison our stores in Cargo Bay 3, we could accommodate that many, Frost pointed out. Since we are heading back to Tesla 3, we won't need them. We can replenish our stores once we return. It is our mission, Captain. Commander, I do not need you to remind me of why we are out here. Mueller almost snapped at him. Aye, sir, my apologies. Frost lowered his head slightly. I meant no disrespect. But you're right. If we can help them, we should. Mueller addressed Mumdingo. Cancel my last order. Set our next jump back to their world. We'll try to rescue as many as we can. Drop us 50,000 miles out and then put us in orbit. Aye, sir, Mumdingo confirmed. Setting new jump coordinates. Estimated jump time in 1 hour 35 minutes. Mueller turned to Rogers. Please inform Captain Basilone to ready his troopers for first contact security. He then looked up at Frost. You'll command the contact missions. Take a medical team with you. Aye, sir. Frost nodded his head slightly. Mueller addressed Rogers again. Can you update their personal computers with translation software? Already uploaded on everyone's devices, the communications officer responded. Well done, Ensign. Also inform the hangar to ready 3 shuttles. They had to get as many survivors out alive as quickly as possible before they were discovered. He ran it through his head again and again, making sure he wasn't missing anything. He was going by the book, crossing all his T's and dotting all his I's. Yet in spite of all his training and experience, something still gnawed at him about this mission. Cut your losses and get out of Dodge, a voice in the back of his mind repeated. Be sure to continue to Chapter 4, Rescue.
To help support the author, please like, share, comment, and subscribe.